Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome back to today's Tolkien Times. I'm Alan, the Man of the West. I'm also from the Prancing Pony podcast, and today's Tolkien Times is my way of bringing you a little Middle-earth every single day. Now, if the few minutes that you get here aren't enough, you're going to want to listen to the Prancing Pony podcast, where I've built up 7 years worth of long episodes, nearly 300 of them now, as we've walked our way through the Legendarium. But let's get started today with Word Nerd Wednesday. Now, to remind you, we're going to use this time on Wednesdays to dive deep into the world of Tolkien's languages. Not just the ones he created, like Quenya and Sindarin, but the real-world ones like Old English, as well as the archaic regular English words that he so often used in his stories. Now, I'll often go back and look at words that my good friend and former co-host Sean Marchese and I looked at together in our Philology Fair segments on the PPP. And today we're actually going to look at two words, two names specifically. Now, sometimes folks will assume there is a connection between the similar-sounding names of Sauron and Saruman, but they don't even come from the same languages. Let's take a look. Sauron comes from Quenya, and it means the abhorred. Specifically, it comes from a primitive Quendian sawa, meaning disgusting, foul, or vile. Now, that strongly suggests he didn't name himself Sauron, and it also explains Aragorn's comment in The Departure of Boromir, when he tells Legolas and Gimli that Sauron does not use his right name, nor permit it to be spelt or spoken. So Sauron is a name that he was given after his fall. His original Maya name was actually Mairon, which means the admirable or the excellent one. Now, that makes his post-fall name the exact opposite of his original name, with admire and abhor as pretty much perfect antonyms. Tolkien tells us that Sauron continued to go by the name Tar-Mairon, which means King Excellent, until after the fall of Numenor. There's a guy with an ego, huh? But the name Saruman doesn't come from one of Tolkien's constructed languages like Sauron does. It comes from Old English. Now, that's not surprising given the Old English influence on Rohirric and the proximity of Rohan to Isengard. The meaning of his name in Old English is simply man of skill, with man meaning, well, man, and seru meaning device, design, contrivance, or art. Now, unlike Sauron, Saruman did use this name for himself, but it is not his original name. His name as a Maya, sort of like Gandalf's Olorin, was Kurumo. Now, that Kuru stem means skill, with Tolkien explaining in this case that it was applied to all cunning or wily things, especially when intended as mysterious or secret. And the mo suffix is just a male suffix, like in ulmo or irmo, etc. Now, of course, his Sindarin name was Kurunir, which also meant the same. It's got the same Kuru stem. But his friends called him Sharky, short for Sharku, which he thought might have been a sign of affection. Turns out it's actually Orcish for old man. Well, folks, that is it for today's Word Nerd Wednesday. Don't call anybody Sharku. It's not a kind thing to call them. Come back as we explore the wide, wild, wonderful world of words on Wednesdays. And if there is a word that you want to know more about, don't forget to let us know by emailing bartleman@theprancingponypodcast.com. For now, though, plan on joining me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times for another Third Age Thursday. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on a podcast app, be sure to follow or subscribe to make sure that every episode gets downloaded to your device. Follow @Tolkien Times on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. And in the words of Faramir, go with the goodwill of all good men.